Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our daily gratitude call. Thank you so much for being on the call today. Appreciate those who are here live and also those that are listening on the podcast. I encourage you to participate fully, whether you're here live or on the podcast. Just grab some paper and pen. We're going to be doing a 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for foresight. Gratitude for foresight. And we'll see what comes up. So I'm just going to set the timer, 90 seconds. Gratitude for foresight, just write down whatever inspiration comes to you. Begin. Melinda, you're just joining. We're doing our private silent meditation on gratitude for foresight. All right. I was, I'm on the last legs of a road trip. I'm actually staying at Tyree's house, stayed at Tyree's house last night. And I've got one more stop on my way home today. I'm going to be working with Tyree for a few hours today and then heading home, and have one more client to see in Utah on my way home. And this has been an awesome trip. I left on Friday. I had 2 stops, and then I went back home and spent the night, and then headed out again on Saturday morning. And I've been gone since Saturday. And I forgot to pack my blow dryer, and there were a couple of other things that I realized. I forgot my earphones. So if my voice sounds a little bit different on the call today, it's because I don't have my earphones in, my earbuds or whatever, and I'm just talking through the computer's speaker. And you know what? It's all been okay. I was this morning when we were doing our rounds of gratitude, I said, I'm thankful for my hair. I'm grateful for my hair because it has natural curl to it, and it kind of just like does whatever it wants. But it typically looks okay regardless of what it's doing. And these last few days, when I have had my hair wet and just let it dry, it's just dried just fine. It looks fine. And I was reminded of a camping trip that I went on. It was before I had any kids, so this has been probably 30 years ago. And I had set the bags out for my husband to put in the truck to take, and he didn't grab the toiletries bag, the one that had like my lotion, my face lotion, my toothbrush, and all my stuff, that I typically use. And I remember being so mad. I was so mad that he had left that bag in, just sitting in the kitchen. And I did have to share his toothbrush. That was like how I got back at him, I guess, is he had to let me borrow his toothbrush. We were sharing the same toothbrush. But other than that, we were camping. I just washed my face with water, and I didn't have anything else, and it was okay. So really all I needed was the toothpaste and the toothbrush. I mean, that really was enough, and I had that. And this, I think Foresight, a lot of times we try to pack so much because we are worried that we're going to need something. And, a lot of times we pack stuff that we don't need because, just in case or whatever. But it's always kind of a fun exercise if we forget something to see how creative we can be, and how, you can actually combine some things, or there's like another way to do it that's just as good, or, whatever. So Foresight can kind of stifle us in a way because it makes us think that we need more than we really do. And if we kind of forget stuff, and don't have foresight or whatever, then it can bring out the most creative parts of us. Who else has something they'd like to share?
I'll share.
Okay, thanks, Kathy.
So I just jotted down a few words that I was thinking about as far as foresight, like inspiration. Foresight shows up as inspiration, preparation, revelation, taking steps. And just the thought, I'm glad I had the foresight to think of doing or grabbing and so whenever we're leaving the house, we're sitting in the car and it's like, okay, time to pray. And it seems like invariably always when we're praying, I'll think of something that, oh, I forgot to grab this. And sometimes it's the very purpose for leaving the house just little things like the grocery list but I'm always, running back into the house to grab something. We had a wedding this weekend and my sister wasn't able to go. So she had left a card with me. And if we hadn't taken that just moment to pray, we would have left the card home. So just prayer, I think, is one of the best things that helps me with foresight. And sometimes inspired next steps is a huge part of having the foresight to think and just do. And sometimes just like, I don't know why, but later it becomes evident that, oh, it's a good thing I remembered this or that. Or so, a lot to do with memory as well, and prayer and all of that. So that's really what was coming up for me.
Awesome. I love that. So kind of what I'm hearing you say is, we personally, in our human selves, because we don't know what the future holds, we can prepare for possibilities. But God does have clear foresight. He knows what we're going to need later. And so if we use prayer and follow our inspired shortcuts, then we're going to be prepared for things that we don't even know is coming. Awesome. Thank you. Robert, you have something, and then Melissa.
Oh, well, yeah. Try to keep this succinctly. So mother had 5 boys. And when you say foresight, mother talked about parts of the boy's body. And she'd always say, how to clean yourself. Pull back your skin. And so I looked at, and mother always said, well, that's there for a reason. It's a protection. And so when you talked about foresight, I looked at it as it's a protection to one's soul, to one's body, to one's mind. And it just became using the foresight as the beginning of protection. And I think it fits into what you're saying with prayer, what has been said about prayer in preparation. It protects you.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah,
Foresight is a
I think,
type of protection. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Thank
I
you.
was, I tried to make that as delicate as possible.
Yes, and you did a wonderful job. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melissa.
Sorry, I was trying to pump some gas. Um, so my comment was just seeing the signs in the scriptures and what Heavenly Father has given us. And, you know, there are definite signs of the times and things happening right now that we can link together and we can see an order of things. And just all of the promises that he gives us as we're seeing these signs that are not favorable. They're not really reasons to be happy about what's happening, but they are really amazing reasons to be grateful for what is to come and the promises that we have protection and we can have faith over fear and just feeling peace in the midst of chaos. I'm just kind of feeling all of those feelings right now. So I think this was a perfect gratitude call for that.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. The thought that came to me is, as you were talking, is that as we're seeing, you know, some of these promises and prophecies fulfilled, that it can strengthen our faith in God, in God's foresight. You know, that even like millennia ago, he was letting us know in our day some of the things that we could prepare for, you know, some of the things that we could expect. And to me, that really strengthens my faith in the past prophets and God himself, you know, for speaking these things and having them recorded so that we can see, yep, this lines up. That's, you know, more evidence that God loves us and that he knows, and we can go to him in prayer because we know he knows what's up. He's still in charge. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we shift over to our permission process?
I'll share.
Thanks, Linda.
As you were talking about forgetting the blow dryer and things, this weekend on Sunday, my sisters and I went out to help my father record some of his memories from Vietnam and growing up, and to hear his stories. And the main purpose was my sister was going out there to scan and record his pictures, and I knew that my job was to help to help record the stories, but also to be there to be a support. So I took a bunch of my foot scrubs out, and you know, just to help keep everybody comfortable. And I knew that was my job. And so as I was gathering my supplies, I kept passing my recorder, and I was like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that recorder. And every time I passed it, it became a visual to me, like very aware that was there, and maybe I should grab that. And I'm like, no, I don't need that. We're recording pictures. And it's funny that even though I get rebellious and the Spirit prompts me for things, and I'm like, no, I've got this. I don't need that, you know. When we got out there, my sister was like, oh, did you bring your recorder to record these memories? And I was like, no, I was just prompted 5 times. Why would I do that? and so it's funny that Heavenly Father helps me notice my rebellion and be aware of it, but then still has other ways. So my daughter had brought her iPad, and she said, hey, Mom, I have a recording app on my iPad. I'll record it. And I was like, oh, perfect. But he helps me be aware of things I could have changed to improve, but also gives me that grace, like, but we'll do it this way because you weren't
willing to listen this time.
Awesome.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And so just the appreciation that I have for him to show me the natural inside of me that I still have to change, but still provides for me along the way.
Yes, that is like my favorite part, is that there's always a backup plan. God always has a backup plan. And I think, a lot of times I will talk to some of my clients and they'll feel like, well, I made that mistake like, 20 years ago. How can I be fixed? There's like no way, because that mistake put me on a path, and now I'm on this other path and I can't like ever get back. But that's what our limiting beliefs would teach us. But God always can bring us back to center, and that was important to you and your family to get those recorded, and you were all together, and it was like the perfect opportunity to do that. So look at the foresight of God of helping someone invent iPads, invent recording devices, invent other ways beyond just like a tape recorder or whatever, that even a child had the means to be able to record these memories. And what a simple and for her to be conscious enough. And I know I spent some time with Melinda's family, and she's got amazing kids, and for her to be that conscious to be able to say, hey, I can help, I can do that. Thank you. Tyree, did you have something?
I just wanted to say that as you have been sharing, the thing that has come to me is that God knew what our times would look like, and he has given us specific things to watch and to do, and like he has asked us to take care of what are all of the words, the hungry, the weak, children, and how that is such, like, abusing children and trafficking children has become such a big thing. And he knew that, and he has asked us to prepare. And I'm just so grateful for his foresight, like everybody has been talking, and how important it is to take care of our old, our elderly people that are no longer able to take care of themselves fully, and our children, and just the hungry and the sick, and all of those people.
Awesome. Just we each other are a resource or a means of foresight. God, down to the very cells in our body, there's like this desire to serve. Whenever I talk to someone who wants to step into their purpose, if they're not really sure what that purpose is, it's like, I don't know, but I just know I want to help people. And I think that light of Christ within us is something ingrained in us, whether it's the light of Christ or something else. There's something within each one of us that there's this desire to serve, desire to help. And if we will allow ourselves to be that human, to be able to offer help and support, then we're all that's God's foresight, isn't it? Is that we all get to support each other. It's his foresight for the elderly being cared for. It's the foresight for the children being safe and cared for. That desire within us to help and to serve is God's foresight to make sure that we're all taken care of. Thank you. Love that. Let's go ahead and just take a deep breath. And just really feel the gratitude and the peace, knowing that God had foresight with everything that has been created. This earth was created with everything, all the resources that we needed. abundantly available, and he knows the plan from the beginning to the end for this earth's purpose, and that everything has been prepared. He had the perfect foresight to have everything here and ready for us, and the perfect people on the earth at this particular time right now. In every point in history, the perfect people have been on the earth to help prepare for the next, whatever it is that's coming. And all of the technology and medical advances, I mean, everything that has been created and that will be created is all part of God's plan and his perfect foresight. Take one more deep breath. And first of all, just as you're being aware of God's perfect plan and his foresight, and knowing that he knows the beginning from the end, and he also knows us intimately as his children, what we will need, what is perfect for each one of us in our travels here on earth. And being also aware of possibly your place in that of course God has perfect foresight and has prepared everything, but sometimes we step into the role of trying to, or feeling like we need to do it all ourselves. And what is the limiting belief coming up for you about just allowing God's foresight to be enough? What's your limiting belief about allowing God's foresight to be enough? And what is the cost of that? If you hold on to that limiting belief, what will that produce for you? What's the natural outcome of this limiting belief? And what effect does that have on you personally, on your time, on your resources, on your ability to connect with people? What is the cost of that limiting belief? And if you don't like that cost, if you'd like to produce a different outcome, then you can totally give yourself permission to do that. And all you have to do is just to make the choice to give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And I would like to invite you to audibly give yourself permission by saying yes.
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 Awesome. So what are the new beliefs? What 2 or 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief and that will allow you to step into the belief that God has perfect preparation. He has perfect foresight. He has all the resources available for whatever is needed. He even has a backup plan, like Melinda's daughter brought a backup plan, that there are multiple ways and there's always the perfect way for something to be accomplished. And what new beliefs will allow you to allow God to have perfect foresight? And these new beliefs, I invite you to just look through these new beliefs and find evidence of the truth of them. Just be open to be shown maybe one situation where this new belief was actually true, that you could see that there is absolutely some truth to this new belief because you've seen it happen in the past. Just take a mental note of all of these new beliefs and the evidences that they are true. And as you're finding that evidence from the past, realize that those experiences were actually foresight to today, to when you were going to be creating these new beliefs. That those experiences from the past that prove the evidence of the truth of these new beliefs were evidences that were put in place before as foresight for this moment when you're stepping into these new beliefs. And realize that all things work together for your good. Even if it was possibly a negative experience, that you were able to find a solution or it all worked out or whatever, that now today it is showing you of evidence of these new beliefs. And with these new beliefs and with this new evidence, and that God's foresight is perfect, I invite you to also be open to know what is the most important thing that you could do today that will actually be preparing you for something in the future, that will be foresight for something coming in the future. What is the one most important thing you could do today? What's your inspired shortcut to foresight to the future? And just listen for your intuition to tell you, trust the first thing that comes to you. Even if it's small, seems insignificant, it's perfect. We have time for a couple quick shares, and I just want to invite all of you to go to askwylene.com to schedule a 15-minute call with me if you are struggling with this at all, or if you just feel like you need some extra insight. I would love to have a 15-minute call with you. It's a free call, free mentoring session, and you just have to go to askwylene.com to go to my calendar and schedule a time that's convenient for you. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.